Hello my loyal subjects, King Crappie here. Today we're diving straight into the royal gutter with 10 of the crappiest scandals in English monarchy history. From diarrhea-induced destiny to going three-way at coronations, this list proves that half of England's kings got their crowns through accidents, crapping their pants, or getting laid. So grab your chamber pot and strap in, because we're starting with the king who literally shat his way onto the throne. Number 10. King Stephen and the shipwreck that made him king. So you're Stephen of Blois. It's 1120. You're supposed to board the White Ship, England's luxury cruise for nobles, royals and people who share a bit too much DNA. Think the Titanic, but with more incest and worse plumbing. Right before boarding, your stomach starts doing Gregorian chants. You rush to the outhouse and unleash a performance so powerful it could have earned a standing ovation from hell itself. By the time you're done sweating and repenting, the ship's gone, and so is England's entire royal bloodline, because it soon sinks in the English Channel. Talk about blowing your load early and still coming out on top. You become king by default. Thousands die in a 20-year civil war, all because your guts were playing the Macarena. And speaking of bad decisions made on the throne, this next prince nearly lost his crown to temptation. Number 9. The secret, and illegal, marriage of George IV. So you're Prince George, future king, fashion icon, and walking red flag in a powdered wig. You could have had your pick. Duchesses, dancers, even your cousin if you were feeling traditionally royal. But no, you fall for the one woman you legally can't have. Maria Fitzherbert, a beautiful Catholic widow with more emotional damage than a Jane Austen protagonist. And because nothing turns a man hard like danger and disapproval, you marry her in secret. No blessing or permission, just raw rebellion. It's like proposing after too much brandy and saying, what's the worst that could happen? Spoiler, the throne. See, royal law said if you marry a Catholic, you lose the crown. Meanwhile, Maria's stuck being your secret wife, watching you publicly marry someone else while you still send her letters written like a drunk theatre kid. My heart aches for thee. The man wanted both divine right and divine booty, but the church said, pick one. Next, you gotta see what happens when one guy's stairway to heaven turns into his wife's murder weapon. Number 8. The mysterious death of Amy Robsart. So you're Robert Dudley, Queen Elizabeth I's favourite side quest. You're rich and charming. The only pickle is you've already got a wife. Amy Robsart's at home knitting while you're out polishing the Queen's sceptre, if you know what I mean. You're quoting scripture by day and sinning like it's overtime by night. The Virgin Queen probably hasn't been that close to divine intervention in years. Then one day, Amy's found dead at the bottom of the stairs. Broken neck at just 8 steps. People start whispering that maybe she tripped over her husband's ambition, or whatever else was sticking out that day. So you never really marry the Queen. Your reputation tanks, and Amy's ghost is probably still whispering, guess who's sleeping alone tonight? But don't worry, loyal subjects, the royal drama keeps on climbing, because the next queen didn't fall down the stairs, she married her way up to them. Number 7. Elizabeth Woodville, the commoner queen. You're King Edward IV, tall, hot and allergic to good decisions. One look at Elizabeth Woodville, a widow with curves sharp enough to cut your crown, and your wood loses all sanity. She refuses to roll in the royal hay unless you marry her, a move so bold it makes half the court drop their goblets. You think she's bluffing, but 5 minutes later you're saying I do faster than your trousers hit the floor. And well, you've secretly married a commoner and the nobles lose their silk-covered minds. Dukes are rioting, your advisors are clutching pearls, and your mother's already lighting candles to banish your lust demon. They claimed Elizabeth bewitched you with dark magic, because clearly no woman could make a king moan without using witchcraft. And when the war breaks out, people whisper that you weren't thinking with your crown, at least not the one on your head. You die and Elizabeth ends up widowed, accused of sorcery, and still the only woman who managed to turn royal pillow talk into a dynasty. But wait till you meet the king who didn't just lose his heart, he lost his sanity, his empire, and possibly his pants. Number 6. The madness of King George III. You're King George III, ruler of Britain, owner of America, briefly of course, and part-time flirt with insanity. One morning you're sipping tea like a noble, and the next you're leaning real close to the curtains, whispering sweet nothings like, you've got a great drape, baby. Then your eyes move to the chandeliers with glass curves in all the right places. By the time someone walks in, you're stroking the coffee table, one leg up like you're marking your territory. So obviously doctors rushed in and their cures were leeches, bloodletting and starvation. It's less healing and more 50 Shades of Pain, starring confused physicians and one very sweaty monarch. Meanwhile, Parliament's in chaos trying to decide who's in charge. The king, the doctors, or the oak tree he keeps calling Your Majesty. At this point, the only thing governing Britain is pure delusion and accidental moaning. Your son, George IV, hovers like a tempted buzzard, ready to snatch the crown the second you croak. But you don't die, you just rant for hours about clouds, cows and divine lingerie. A true tragedy. But the next royals prove you can lose your morals faster than a noble at happy hour. Number 5. Catherine Swynford, the royal mistress's ultimate glow-up. So you're Catherine Swynford, royal side piece to John of Gaunt, England's top sugar daddy. You start as a humble governess, but soon the Duke's getting extra credit. The kind that involves no clothes, plenty of oral exams, and hand stuff. For years you're the medieval homewrecker everyone gossips about. Nobles whisper, temptress. Priests whisper, sinner. And servants whisper, girl's got game. Meanwhile, John's wife is dying slowly, probably from rage every time she hears your name moaned from the next chamber. But then comes the plot twist. The wife croaks and John actually marries you. The court collectively faints. The mistress just became duchess, and your illegitimate kids get upgraded to first class. You just proved that the best diplomacy happens under the sheets. So you literally slept your way into the history books. But you have got to meet the Queen who got dragged through court for allegedly sleeping with everyone. Number 4. The Trial of Queen Caroline. You're Queen Caroline, wife to King George IV, the human peacock. The marriage was a disaster. He's cheating before the ink's dry, you're done pretending he's charming, and the palace bedroom's colder than a nun's diary. When George becomes king, he doesn't divorce you, he sues you for adultery. Yep, England's monarch put his wife on trial for being too friendly. Pamphlets fly, crowds chant your name, and tabloids crown you the people's queen. You show up to court in designer gowns, waving like a diva at the Grammys, while George gets pelted with fruit and pure public shame. He loses, you win, and the people adore you, proving that even in the 1800s, nothing goes viral faster than a messy breakup and a queen who doesn't fake innocence. And speaking of people disappearing, this next scandal involves 2 little princes and one ambitious uncle. Number 3. The Princes in the Tower. You're Richard, Duke of Gloucester, the uncle who babysits like a prison guard. When your brother, King Edward IV, dies, you're left protecting his sons. One's 12, one's 9, and both are inconveniently in your way. So you do what every sketchy uncle does. Lock them in a tower and call it security. Then one day they're gone. No letters, no bodies, no bedtime stories, just 2 empty beds and a brand new King Richard. Rumours fly that you had them smothered, stabbed or sold. Basically every element of a true crime episode, but no proof of foul play. Shakespeare later paints you as the hunchback psycho who turned babysitting into murder mystery night. And let's be honest, you wanted the crown so bad, you probably kissed it harder than your wife. But enough about dead nephews, let's talk about a king who loved his friend so hard, the whole kingdom started a war over it. Number 2. The King Edward II and Piers Gaveston love affair. You're King Edward II, young, dreamy and way too obsessed with your bestie, Piers Gaveston. You spoil him with castles, jewels and more affection than your poor wife ever saw. You marry Queen Isabella, but ignore her so hard it's a geopolitical crisis. Piers wears your clothes, sits at your table, and probably knows exactly how you like your royal jewels handled. Eventually, the court snaps. They drag Piers out to the street, chop off his head, and mail it back like a breakup letter written in blood. You go berserk, start a war, and end up dethroned, captured, tortured, and killed by a red-hot poker where the sun doesn't shine. That's a whole new meaning to getting the shaft. And now, my loyal degenerates, brace yourselves, because the final scandal involves a little royal 3-way at a coronation party. Yeah, that kind of party. Number 1. King Eadwig's Coronation Threesome. It's your coronation day. You're young, hot, and freshly crowned King of England. Then halfway through the ceremony, you vanish. Panic sets in and everyone starts wondering if the new king got kidnapped. Nope, you're upstairs, crowning something else entirely. The Archbishop kicks down the door to find you mid-family affair, tangled in sheets with your girlfriend and her mother. Whoa, wasn't expecting that, but it sounds like something only a royal would do. They drag you back to the feast half naked and still catching your breath, while the priests try not to make eye contact with your royal scepter. Your reign was short, for obvious reasons, but your legend became immortal. So tell me in the comments which royal scandal was your favourite, and if it deserves its own episode. And remember, subscribe to Crappy Crowns, or I'll personally have you tried for witchcraft. That's an order from your King Crappy.